on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through blue-tinted glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Ball back here for Darwin. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul Fatawu.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Good evening and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It's Wednesday, which means it is time for Fox's Den. This show never nearly happened, but I decided at last minute this afternoon we'll do some hot takes because it's been a while. So I did ask everybody online on Twitter and Fox's Talk to give us their hot takes, their Leicester City hot takes. So we've got a load of them from people that have been submitted. We'll also get our own ones as well, and everybody in the live chat, feel free to get yours in too. Before we get into it, although, let's say hello to everybody. Imran, what's going on, mate? How are you?
Yeah, not bad, guys. How are you all?
Good.
I'm good, mate.
Good.
And,
Sorry, was I really loud? Was I really loud?
No.
No? People are saying I'm really loud.
Oh.
I'll just turn the volume down.
Before we start, I just want to pay tribute to a young lad. I went to a funeral yesterday, season ticket holder at Leicester City. Harrison, his name was Harrison Mitchell. So I just want to big up the family yesterday. They were very brave. There was a great turnout. Just wanted to pass my condolences to the family, and it was well done to the Leicester City family for making an effort and attending yesterday.
Yeah, mate. You told me about it last week, mate. So it was, really sad, really sad. So I hope yesterday went okay, mate. And yeah, absolutely. Let me come to you, Ragsy. People in the chat as well, by the way. Let me know if the audio is okay. Ragsy, what's going on, mate? How are you?
Yeah, all good, lads. Hope you're having a good evening. Actually got a win to maybe throw in the discussion here, but last minute with the headphones and stuff, a bit of a new addition. Back on the street after your audio. I hope it's not me. No feedback, so let me know.
It's all good, mate. It's all good. He's got the beats on. Reese, over to you, mate. How's things?
Oh, good, mate. Yeah, looking forward to doing this. This one. I love. We all know I love a hot take, Locks, with Jakub and Mads. So this will be interesting.
Yeah. Let me see who's here. Evening to you, Paul. Hope you're doing well, mate. Azola, good evening, all. Evening from Canada, says Blue Fox Forever. We'll sort the audio out. Don't worry, people in the chat. It's all good. Okay, before we get started, then, while I sort the audio out, let me come to you, Imran. Have you got any hot takes? Have you got any hot takes for Leicester City? Leicester City hot takes at all?
No,
do you know what a hot take is?
No, like I said, you asked me to join today. So what is a hot take?
Hot take. So if I was to say to you, Imran, I think Mavididi is better than Harvey Barnes, that would be a hot take. Sorry, I've stolen Ragsy's.
We're off.
Got more in the locker.
No, that's a hot take. No, I'll tell you what. We'll go through everybody's the ones that I've saved, and then we'll come back to yours guys afterwards. So the first one for today, which we're going to discuss them all. I've picked out the best ones, so we're going to start with this one, which was from Fox's Talk. Tommy Fresh. Now, I don't think this is that hot of a take, but he says Fofana is the best centre half I've seen at Leicester. Now, I want to come to you first, Imran, because you're, no offence, older than the rest of us. So you've seen some centre halves in your time. What do you make to this take from Tommy saying he is the best centre half he's ever seen?
So I think, again, it's down to an age, like you said, but I don't think he is. Yes, he was a fantastic player for us for the time he played for us, but he was injured half the time, right? So I'd probably, for me, it's always going to be Stevie Walsh or Matt Elliott for the centre backs.
Yeah. Ragsy, what about you, mate? Because I actually agree with. I think Fofana is the most talented centre back that I've seen, or the best centre back that I've seen at Leicester. It was a short space of time. He got injured, of course, but he's my favourite centre back in a Leicester shirt.
Yeah, I'm here with you, Locks, about in terms of the most talented centre back that we've ever had. I think just when you consider the attributes, his recovery pace, his ability on the ball, and just the fact that he almost stepped in and was just a top class centre back straight away, and that elevated us for that season, especially the first season that he was in, and we ended up winning an FA Cup, and he had to step in when Johnny Evans got injured, and he had to step into that role and keep a clean sheet against Chelsea. And like, just in terms of defending ability, it sucks, like, you know, and it's awful just reminiscing on him after the way that he left and knowing that he's a rat and everything. But I think if we're talking technical attributes and speaking, he's probably the most talented centre back that we have ever had at the club. Would he go down as the greatest? Probably not on reputation. There's still like a Wes Morgan, a Robert Huth, obviously Steve Walsh, of course, and like that would end up being greater and have a better legacy over here, and the longevity as well. Like, they've stayed here for a number of years and they've just committed to the cause throughout. So, but in terms of most talented, yeah, I would say Fofana.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment here from Blue Fox Forever who says, define best, taking into account injuries and attitude. No, I suppose I'm going off the basis that I think he's the best in terms of just ability, quality. I thought from minute one when he came in, I was like, wow, man, who is this guy? Like, he looks like 30 years old, experience, you know what I mean, like 28 years old in his prime, and he was so young. What about you, Reese, mate? What did you make to this one, saying that Fofana is the best centre-back he's seen at Leicester?
I completely agree with that. I think in terms of natural ability, I think in terms of an all-round package, and in terms of the high ceiling, I don't think there's any question in terms of like that sort of attributes as a centre-back. I think he is the best to ever play for the club. But now in terms of a Leicester career, he's nowhere near that, of course. Of course, he won the FA Cup with us, and he got to a European semi-final with us. But in terms of like Steve Walsh, Matt Elliott, Wes Morgan, Robert Huth, he gets nowhere near them in terms of Leicester reputation. But natural ability, he is by far the best, no question.
Yeah, I mean, Lee John says here, pure ability, he is the best, but I am also 20, so... yeah, I feel like a lot of people's favourites, you know, I don't think he's anyone's favourite in terms of like their favourite player, right? Because when you talk about your favourites and things, you've got to kind of take into account more than just ability, what they did, you know, how they were kind of attitude-wise, off the pitch, how they left the club. We know Fofana's is a bit sketchy, but no, I hear you all on that. I think he is the best quality, but you know, it's a shame. I think I'm not really bothered that he's turned out how he has, because he kind of ratted us out at the end, didn't he? But I think if he stayed fit, if he didn't have those injuries, I think he'd be elite. Absolutely elite by now. Right, the next one I want to go over to, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I was going to save it till later, but I want to chat this one, and it's with Imran particularly, because I think it's something he will wholeheartedly disagree with. So I'm going to come to Imran last, but the first person I'll come to is Reese. So this comment, Reese, was, we'd have stayed up comfortably last season if Enzo was our manager. What do you make to this tweet? Because I think you have to take into account a few different things. Like, if he'd have stayed, we would have made different signings as well. So we wouldn't have signed Oliver Skipp and Jordan Ayew and Bobby De Cordova-Reid. So you've got to take that into account in your answer. But what do you make to this comment here from Steve saying that we would have stayed up comfortably under Enzo?
I'm kind of on the fence with it at the minute, because I can see where Steve's coming from. Because, like you said, we wouldn't have signed Bobby Reid, we wouldn't have signed Jordan Ayew, we wouldn't have signed Oliver Skipp and players like that. But I can see where it's coming, because we'd have signed players that have fitted his system and more technically gifted players than rather those players. I'm going to go no. I don't think we would have stayed up, because I think Enzo would have been too stubborn to change it. And I think that would have ultimately got him the sack in the end anyway. because, you know, you have to be a bit more pragmatic when you get promoted with a championship squad. So I don't think we would have stayed up, but I can see where Steve's coming from there.
Okay. By the way, everybody in the chat, the audio should be sorted now, so just let me know in the live chat. Ragsy, what about you, mate? You also, I think, well, you know, you liked Enzo, right? You preferred him to the other managers that followed anyway. But what do you think to this comment here saying we would have stayed up? Because I know Luke is adamant on this. Luke reckons if we had Enzo, we would have finished like 12th or 11th. So what do you think? How do you think the season would have gone under Enzo?
I mean, I don't know about comfortably, but I would have had full faith that was the best. He would have been the best manager to keep us up that season. And I think it's more than the tactics, really. It's more than his tactical setup. It's more than his approach. It's more than his like bringing quality through and recognizing. It's for the sake, first of all, it's for the sake of continuity. Like, we were already on the back foot when Chelsea poached him off of us. And like, in terms of building for plans and stuff to build a dynasty or whatever, or implement a philosophy or whatever that he wanted to in his way. So he would have recognized and assessed the current players in the squad over the course of this season and be able to pinpoint what sort of attributes and players that we would have needed to make it work in the Premier League. And in the few tests that we did have, like under Enzo and stuff, because I think a lot of people were complaining about, oh yeah, you know, but it's really boring, it's quite stagnant and stuff, and he would have been too stubborn. He had no choice to be stubborn because other teams were stubborn. They were constantly parking the bus against us. So we only had this one way to retain the ball, to draw them out. And that's what made it an elongated process to go and break teams down. But even then, it was the most effective in the Championship. And we'd have been able to see more of that up against teams that, you know, would have taken the game to us and, you know, would have been a bit more expansive. And we'd have been able to see like how then he goes on upon another level and stuff whilst keeping the same foundations that he had. He would have brought he would have had a better recruitment process for a start, been able to recognize the talents and stuff, know which ones to keep, know which ones to get rid of, because as soon as he went and stuff, everybody got like a clean slate and stuff. Whereas Enzo would have stepped in and been like, nah, you ain't cutting it. Also at the time, heard this through Gillian Ballagay, but like, he wanted a technical director. And I reckon, weirdly, that could have been a turning point for King Parrott at the time. Had he gone to top and said, no, we know you need more help here. You need someone that actually can understand in terms of the levels of recruitment that we need, what we need to profile for. And had he had that conversation and had Iowa had been given Enzo time, we could have been in a far different place and stuff. We would have had a far better chance if he was our manager and stuff. And I probably believe that, yeah, we would. I think we would have stayed up. I think it was our best chance to stay up.
Interesting. So let me come to Enzo. I called you Enzo then, Imran. Let me come to Imran. Imran, mate, what are you saying then? You've heard the lads. You know how Luke feels about this. You see what Steve thinks about this. So my question to you, Imran, would we have stayed up comfortably if Enzo was our manager last season?
No fucking chance. No chance. Because I'll tell you what would have happened, right? Right? We would have started losing games, right? And the fans would have got on the back, because obviously if you lose 4 or 5 on the spin, pressure's already on. I think he would have got sacked because he would have been so stubborn. The fans would have told him to go. And we didn't look. At the end of the day, I know there's all ifs and maybes that, we wouldn't have signed Ayew, we wouldn't have signed Cordova-Reid, etc. I think the question should be, if we kept Kieran Dewsbury Hall, would we have stayed up, right? And I think if we had Kieran Dewsbury Hall, I think we would have stayed up. And forget Enzo. Enzo's just he's self-centered, right? As soon as he got his opportunity, he was off. So for me, I don't think so. And look, let's not forget, we sacked Steve Cooper when we were not in the relegation zone. Everyone forgets that. So far, from the 3 managers we've had, Steve Cooper's actually on top of all of them, right? If you look at it. So
come on.
I'm not.
No.
Listen, stats prove, right? Steve Cooper was not in the relegation zone when we sacked him, and then it went all tits up when Ruud came in. And I was saying this from the start, right? We just needed a change of the way we're playing. Look, every team's doing it now in the Premier League. Long throws, corners, direct balls. That's what they're doing now. Not all the time, but they're doing it, right?
Do you think we'd have stayed up with Cooper, Emrem? Do you think we'd have stayed up with? Do you think we'd have stayed up with Cooper?
I think we would have had more of a chance to stay up with Cooper's style because we just needed to dog it out last season, right? Not this fancy pussyfooting around at the back bullshit, right? So I think we would have had a chance. I'm not saying we would have stayed up, but we would have. We look. Stats don't lie, right? We were not in the relegation zone, and we had a run of good fixtures coming up when we sacked him. But Ruud didn't do any better. Anyway, that's my final on Enzo. We wouldn't have stayed up, no chance.
Well, let me bring this comment up here. There's a couple I wanted to just get people's thoughts. I mean, I think Enzo would have played Jeremy Monga. Yeah, I think he would have for sure. You saw he kind of, Casey McAteer. He wasn't as young as Monga, obviously, but he did kind of try his best and tried to nurture McAteer a little bit. So I think he would have done the same with Monga. This one I wholeheartedly disagree with. Well, not disagree with as such, but you'll see what I mean. So Josh says Top would have backed Enzo. Mate, he backed Cooper. He gave Cooper 80+ million, man, and Cooper spent it on fucking Oliver Skip. Like, come on, man. He was backed. Every manager other than Marty, okay, every manager under King Power and Top, every manager other than Marty has been backed in their first summer.
No.
In their first summer.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Who?
No.
Why?
Ruud wasn't backed. Was
No,
it?
first summer. I just said first summer. First summer.
Sorry. All right. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Marty's the only one who hasn't been backed. Right? You think back. Trust me on this. You think back to all of them. Okay, they've all been backed in the summer, and Marty's the only one that hasn't had that. So, yeah,
I think that's partly because of PSR, right? That's the
of course.
Yeah,
of course. Okay, let's move on then to the next one. This time, which one should we go for next? I want to go for talking to Top. We've got Zach who says Top will never sell the club, no matter how bad it gets, due to Vishai's love for the club. Let me come to you first, Ragsy. What do you think to this one, mate? Do you think this is true? Because I think there's an element of truth to this. I feel like if he was willing to sell, he may have already done that. I mean, we don't know. He might already be looking into it, but he keeps going on about his commitment right to the club. So what do you think to this comment? Top will never sell because of how much Vishai loved it and the connection he's got with it.
I'd say that would be the case if it was financially viable to do so. But then when you look at King Power and the difficulties that have come about since then, that's not necessarily a possibility. He may want to, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he could. So if we're hearing what is true, that it could be leading towards King Power heading into bankruptcy and stuff, or whatever, they're facing financial difficulties, then it's then not possible to facilitate a rebuild that he would want to do. And then as well, he'd have to have people around. If he's got to go and salvage King Power or whatever, then that then could lead to a possibility as to him having, like, not really wanting to, but having to sell Leicester. So, no, I disagree. I think like there would be an end to it. I don't think with owners and stuff and their lifespan that it really is that long. I think it would have been a plan if Vichai was here, that it would then have been passed down just to sort of keep it in the family to an extent. But I don't think really there's no one left in the sort of pipeline for him to be his predecessor or something. So
he's got a son. Top's got a little son nowadays.
Oh God, that would be it. Yeah, for decades then. But yeah, it could happen, but unlikely.
Reese, I mean, your uncle Clibbo says he will. It makes me laugh nowadays, by the way, because anytime Clibbo says something, everybody's like, "Is that a rumor? Is that a rumor?" But he says he'll have to as soon as we get promoted. I mean, I suppose, right, that Reese, if he wants to sell, he is going to want to get promoted first because he'll get more money, and it'll be a more of a sellable asset if they're a Premier League club.
Yeah, I agree with. I mean, it's not often me and Uncle Clibbo agree, but I agree with him there. I think, how long does loyalty last? His dad's passed away for, was it 7 years now? 7, 8 years. How long do you last for. You got fans turning on you, and there's a lot more speaking out about the situation at the club. I mean, I heard the chants at Norwich, as we spoke about the other night, Locks. I think there will come a point where he'll have to sell because it will just get increasingly toxic. And if he doesn't change the situation, if he changes things at the board level, like Rudkin's position, maybe fans will see, okay, he's making changes. But at the minute, does it look like that's going to happen? I don't think so. And I think if it gets really toxic, you'll see protests sooner rather than later. And I think he'll have to sell for the good of the club.
Yeah. I mean, there's a comment here from Chappie. He says, Top can't sell it emotionally. His dad died at the ground during a match day. His family will never just let it go. Neither would I. I mean, would you guys? So Imran, I'll ask you, mate, what do you think to the comment that says Top won't sell no matter how bad it gets because of Vishai's love for the club?
So why does it have to be so black and white? That's what my question is, right? Like, why there have been many cases where football club owners sell 80% of the club stake, right? And then they become minority shareholders or whatever. I think that's a possibility, 100%, because like one of the messages was saying, right, he's not going to sell the club because he's got an emotional attachment now to the club, right? There's so much that's happened in this last, 13, 14 years since they've been around. You can't just let go just like that. There has to be some remnants left of King Power or the Top family. So I think he will sell, but I think he'll want to keep, 10, 15% of a stake in the club. And then maybe hopefully find some rich Arab guy or some rich American, I don't know, just go and get an owner that can take us to the next level. And I think he would be open to that, as long as he can keep, a little bit of a stake in there as well. That's my views. But yeah, nothing lasts forever, Locks. Nothing lasts forever, right?
Just quickly, Locks. I keep hearing people saying we're not an attractive proposition. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. You're a club that have been successful as much as we have in the past 10 to 12 years, won the Premier League, one of the best training grounds in the world, may I add, in the world, a fantastic academy. It's got great potential. I think there'll be people lining up to buy us. I think we are an attractive proposition. So I keep hearing these people, we're not an attractive proposition anymore. I think it's utter nonsense.
Planning permission has been also granted for the expansion of King Power and.
Well, they've only got so long to start that, though, right?
Yeah, they can just lay a brick, man. Just lay a brick. That's all. Not physically, but lay a brick.
I know what you mean. I hope Top doesn't go down Mike Ashley route, says Paul.
It's heading that way, unfortunately.
Well,
people may not
is it
like
though?
it, but
Is it though?
I think, you see it with
I agree, Ragnar. I agree.
I look at this can't. I know, hopefully, by the end of the season, the wage bill will drastically drop to then be a championship rate sort of budget and stuff. But how long can we keep going like this season after season? And just clinging on to the past, and then just making the same decisions that clearly got us in this mess in the first place without changing. So really, yes, it is going to only head one way, and that's heading down and probably towards League One. We'll end up back there. So
Mike Ashley didn't take Newcastle to League One.
But okay, with Chansiri then, with Sheffield Wednesday, I think we're heading in that direction.
Oh come on, this isn't Chansiri level. For me, Ragsy, it's an insult to Sheffield Wednesday to call this a Chansiri situation.
We're not there yet. That's not what I'm saying. We're heading in that direction. We're headed that's the trajectory that we're on.
Yeah, but Sheffield Wednesday are in the mess that they are because of poor decisions. Like poor recruitment decisions. We are Sheffield Wednesday are in the masses because their owner he's just a fucking horrible human, and I think we can all agree that Top isn't a horrible human. He's not a horrible human, Bragsy.
They're ignorant, but they're ignorant. They're pride hungry. They're power hungry. You take Leicester City away from him. At the end of the day, that's his big asset. Right, and
King Power's a bigger asset. King Power's a bigger asset than Leicester City.
Not at this rate. No, not at this moment.
But it is. It is though. It is right now.
It's continuously bringing him a lot of money, and King Power isn't at this moment in time. So, you take that away from him, then that's his sort of status there gone. So he will retain it and keep it on if he has to. Otherwise, the last time that we got promoted, then he would have sold it then if those intentions were true. But he didn't.
Well, he probably thought. Go on, Reese.
I was just going to say, I don't think Top's a horrible human being like Chansiri or Mike Ashley. Mike Ashley just drained that club for every single penny he could out of those fans. Whereas we have seen prices rise in tickets and shirts and all of that malarkey. But I think it just comes down to Top just hasn't got a clue how to run a football club. That's the way I see it. And I think if he's not careful, even as a good person as he is, he will lead us down and down and down if this carries on, if he doesn't make changes. That's what I will say.
Yeah, that's where my head is at Imran. He's not. I don't like Chansiri. Bad intentions, Chansiri. I don't think there's any bad intentions from Top. I just think he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think. No, I was going to say. I think. Look, what's happened with Top is right. I think he's just lost the plot. Right, his dad passed away. King Power's in problems. He got married. He had kids. He's got too much going on. I know that's not everything's an excuse, but because he's still fairly young, and he's relied a lot on Rudkin, as we know, right? He's used him as his right-hand man. There's obviously issues with Sue Whelan as well. She had to leave. So things have been a bit rocky, right? But I just genuinely think that this family, they're not bad people. It's just that the situation at the moment is that Top has just lost control and needs help, or like Ragsy says, they need to sell up, right? If he can't do it, let other owners who can help us come in and do what they need to do, right? He's taken.
There's no shame in that.
Sorry,
no shame. There's no shame in that at all.
No, none of us are saying that.
Yeah.
No.
But I just want to make the point, right? Like, look, I've seen it really bad. I've seen us go under administration when Gary Lineker got people together to try to buy the club out. We've seen us go down to League One. It's not got to that level yet. Yes, Ragsy is right. We might be heading in that direction. I don't think we are, but we might be. But it's not that bad just yet, right? So I think let this season, whatever happens this season, I'm still hopeful. I know I went hopeful a few weeks ago, but I still think we can push for the playoffs. And once these high earners come off the wage books, I think we'll be in a better position to rebuild. But with or without Top, right, we'll be in a better position, if that makes sense. But that's my views on it. But let's not forget, like we could get anyone, right? Once he sells, we need to make sure the right people come in. And to get the right people, we have to be very lucky, because we were very lucky with King Power.
Yeah.
Because they did promise us success, and they did deliver, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing. Just quickly. That's where I think That's where I think we will get someone good, because I think Top wouldn't sell to someone who he thinks will be a parasite to the club. I think he would take good time and think, right, who is the best person to invest, look after the community, and all of that malarkey. I think he would look deeply into that. I don't think he just sell, bang, and he's gone.
I agree. I don't think he would sell to anyone dodgy. I think he would sell to someone who he trusts will look after the club. Yeah, I agree with you, Reese. Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's move on to this one. This is a feisty one. Let me come to Ragsy first. Rudkin had a good summer, all things considered. Thoughts, mate?
What?
Rudkin had. No, let's look at it objectively, yeah. No. Let's look at it objectively, right?
All right. State the facts, please. Okay, go on.
I want you to tell me what he got wrong then this summer, please. Tell me. Let's start with that. What did he do? What did he get wrong, Ragsy, this summer?
Being here for a start.
Come on. Play along. Right. Come on.
We had a decent deadline day. All things considered, due to the mess that he created. But yeah, we had a decent deadline.
Yeah. I agree,
Ragsy, I'm giving you the easier way out here. What did he get wrong? That's what I'm asking you, mate. Come on.
Okay.
What did he get wrong?
Where'd you sit here and begin? It's not what he did. It's just what he is. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just it's just outdated in his ways. He is. I'm not saying he's a parasite to an extent, and that's what I will call him. But I think at the end of the day, like, he is way out of his depth as to what he's actually been given. And where I will sit here and give him some slight sympathy is that he's been shafted into a role that he doesn't know how to do. Like, he doesn't know how to, like, facilitate a proper recruitment process and actually talk. And he's been given way too... I think he's been shafted a load of work by Iowa. I don't think he's the big issue, but I think he is a problem and he hasn't been dealt with. And for this, like, you know, for this summer, like, it's all his, like, his decisions that he's contributed to the previous recruitment processes that have led us to be in the mess that we're in today. So yes, we didn't have a lot to do over the course of the summer, but because we couldn't do it. So this is self-inflicted upon him. So I'm not going to say, like, you know, in the day that we were able to, if we were impounded under a registration embargo, fair enough. We got some decent loans. That doesn't make up really for what is there. That's all I can sit here and give him some slight credit on, but it's still a problem.
Ragsy, you're talking about history. That's not what the take is, man. The take's about this summer.
This summer.
The take's this summer. Yeah.
But it's not good. It's not like he's saying it's good. It's not good. It's like he had a decent day on deadline day.
John Rudkin doesn't determine the transfer budget, right? You know that, right?
Yes.
So out of the funds that were available, which by the way was zero, he had a good summer, no?
Yeah, that's because he didn't have to buy anyone. Right? Did you just say it?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to buy anyone, right?
You did wage.
Yeah, didn't have to. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the outgoings, Ragsy. Actually, no. Let me ask Reese. Reese, outgoings, right? So you know, Mads Hermansson. We all had a little bit of a moan about most of us had a little bit of moan about the fee. Was it like 18 million, 17 million, something like that? That's looking like a decent amount of money, isn't it? Well, Ragsy, I'm not being funny, mate. West Ham are trying to get rid of him right now because he's fucking dog shit. Okay.
I told you. I told you. I mean, look.
He's a really good.
Listen. Look. I loved Mads, but I'm telling you, I've said it once. I'll say it again. His injuries affected him more than we believe. I think that injury that he had rushed back into the team. I think it's done his career a lot of damage. That's why I wasn't bothered about getting rid of him. And you know, I did think it was a good fee at the time. But I do think before his injury, we had a 30-40 million pound goalkeeper. But go on, Ross, carry on.
No, that's what I mean. Talk to me then. Because I think out of the incomings, Reese, you know, you've got Begovic, who now is already is this week looking like a good backup to Jakub, right? You've got the other keeper who I don't think we're ever going to see, to be honest with you. It's probably just emergency. And then you've got the three outfield players, Reese, Carranza, Ramsey and JJ, two of which I think have looked very good. So do you think he had a good window, or would you just call it he did all right? He didn't have a bad window, did he, Reese?
No, it wasn't bad at all, but it's like what Rags is saying, and I agree, it's the mess he created. And you also have to remember, we got rid of all of those big wages, you know, Vardy went, Danny Ward, Ndidi, Connor Cody, and yet we still have the highest wage bill in the Championship. That's how much shit he's created at the club. So I can't really give him too much that is,
to be fair, Reese, that was September, so it don't count. it don't count. It was outside the window. It don't count. What about you, Imran? Would you just agree with this, mate? It was an all right window, but could have gone, because again, I'll say it again, right? John Rudkin doesn't determine the transfer budget, mate. So out of the budget he did have, which was zero, do you think he did okay?
Yeah, I think like I said, because he didn't have to buy anyone. I think he did okay. I wouldn't trust him to buy anyone. So yeah, he did okay because he didn't have he didn't have the power of negotiation because we had no budget, right? But from the loan signings, I don't know how much he was involved and how much, because really we should be praising Marty then, shouldn't we? Because he must have highlighted those players, and it's quite easy to negotiate a loan deal rather than a transfer fee. And And I think the loan signings, apart from Krapanza, that's a good one actually, better than Mavi. But Krapanza, I just saw that come up on a comment. Yeah, he's been shocking, man. So from the 3 outfield players we've signed, I think he's done okay.
Good.
But not great, right? It's just okay.
Yeah. 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
But Clibbo is right. Yeah. He ruined it a month later. But I've heard that Marty had a big say in this. By the way, I've heard that Marty had a big say in this.
But I think you got to remember about the contract to Thomas, right? We don't know how. I think there was a year left on his contract, right? Which means that he would have left for free, and most of us would have been happy. But he would have left for free at the end of the season. But now you've got him on a 4-year contract. We can now obviously command a transfer fee for him in a year or two, right? So maybe it was something to do with that. I don't think he got that much of a significant pay increase as well. So it's just trying to secure the club for a transfer fee later on, and we don't fall into that same mistake that we had with Tielemans and all the other ones that we lost on free transfers like Perez, etc.
Well, Thomas, go on, Locks.
No, go on, Reece.
I was just going to say, with Thomas though, we didn't accumulate we didn't buy him. We got him for free through the academy, and we would have lost him. And we would have lost him for free. So it wouldn't have counted towards PSR anyway. So
no, but it would have been a profit. It would have been a profit though.
It would have been a profit. It would have been, but I don't think it'd have been too much hinge on the PSR dealing. That's but unlike Tielemans and players like that.
Yeah. Okay, let me move on then to the next one because we're running out of time. The next one I'm going to go for is let's find a good one. Let's go for this one. So there's a comment here from Fox's Talk that says, I have a morbid curiosity as to how Russell Martin would do if Marty was given the boot. Imran, would you fancy seeing Russell Martin at the KP, mate?
No chance. It'd be pretty much the same old shit we'd be seeing, right? All this passing around the back and keeping possession, letting the goalkeeper be Zidane again, right? Goalkeepers are there to save the ball, not to distribute the play. So, no, I think he'd be worse than Marty, to be honest. Russell Martin, with the current crop of players we've got at the moment, he'd be a lot worse.
Ragsy, Russell Martin, mate, fancy a little run out because it feels like one of them ones that it's been destined to happen for so long. It's just going to happen one day.
Yeah, it's always been on their radar. So, no, absolutely not. Not in a million years. The Timu version of Enzo. Just like he can try like doing Enzo ball. He can try and be in the setup space, but clearly his style does not work. Like it just scraped by on quality at Southampton in that first season, came crashing down, and then looked what happened at Rangers. So absolutely not in it. Wouldn't touch him with a barge pole.
Reece, Russell Martin.
No, I agree with the lads. I do think with the crop of players that Enzo had, I think he'd have done a better job because they're all suited to a Passy style. But these crop of players, absolutely not. I think he'd have us in the bottom 3. And I get
a bad stick with Martin. I didn't say I wanted. No, I did say I wanted Martin, but it was out of the candidates that were available, and they were really poor. As soon as Danny Roll's name came up, I was all aboard Danny Roll. I forgot about Russell Martin very quick, but
yeah. No, look, just on Danny Roll, right? As soon as he's coming at Rangers, right, you've seen a complete change in results as well, right? So of course we all wanted Danny Roll, but yeah, that's a different topic altogether.
Right, moving on to this one from Fosshub. He says, we won't be able to replace Ndidi for a long time, and in a few years he'll be regarded as one of the club's best midfielders. Imran, thoughts on this one, mate?
So I partly agree with that one, actually. So he was one of the best midfielders maybe 3 years ago. Like he was amazing, right? Let's be honest, his game was to break up the play and win the ball back and play it simple, right? I think Enzo destroyed him. And again, I'm going to get probably criticism. I think when Enzo came in, he tried to make him into a passing midfielder when he was simply not that, and made him play in that 8 position when he was a defensive midfielder. and I didn't like him playing in that position. He'd rushed the shots. I know he got a few goals. His passing, the through balls and stuff like that. You need a little bit more guile and skill to do that kind of stuff. And indeed, he weren't built for that. But yeah, I think looking back in 10 years' time, I think most of us would agree that indeed he was one of our better midfielders that has played for the club. And so that's why I partially agree with it. But I think towards the back end, especially the last 2 years or so, I think, I weren't impressed with his performances, to be honest. Giving the ball away, not playing his game, playing that. Again, it was the style of play that I think ruined him a little bit last couple of years.
See, Ragsy, I think Imran's being incredibly harsh because I think Enzo, like, it was a square peg in a round hole, but he got it. It worked. Like I think he was very good, and I think Wilf's real drop off happened under Brendan, not under Enzo, in my opinion. I don't know what you thought, Ragsy, but I agree with the comment from Fossub. I think he is one of the best we've ever had.
Yeah. I think with Ndidi, with his reputation and what he's done here, I think he's been a great player for us overall. Just being that brute force protector for the defense and the tackles, the interceptions that. Just clean sheets you look by and you think like, we've had an easy game with defense, have not had a lot to do. So it's literally just been down to him. I think the issue with Ndidi is that he's not always excelled at his passing all throughout his career. Like his height and, his long reach for tackles and stuff, that's where his bread and butter is. But I think for the start, I saw like a whole new level to Ndidi with his passing and stuff. And then for whatever reason, something just dropped off with him. And then he started declining massively and just was losing focus of...
I know why.
And was depreciating in all aspects and stuff. How do you know?
I know why. I've said this forever.
You know why? Yeah.
In 2013 or 14, Wilfred Ndidi got banned from the under-21 African Cup of Nations because he failed an age test. So I am convinced that Wilfred Ndidi...
Oh, yes, I believe it too.
I'm convinced when we bought Wilfred Ndidi, so he was like 19 or 20 or something like that. I think he was actually like 25. And I think we got 4 years, 5 years of his peak. And then he hit 30 and he started to decline. That's just my conspiracy theory. By the way, the story is real. If you go to the BBC, it's a true story. Indeed, he was banned from the Nigerian under-21 squad for failing an age test, an MRI. So that's not bullshit. That's a true story.
Did you not
know that, Imran? You not heard that before?
That. So that explains the drop-off. He's basically an OAP. He should have been playing for the over 35s, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hey, look, let me quickly show you, right? Let me quickly show for anybody that doesn't believe me.
So that kind of makes sense then. That makes sense why the drop. Because I even see him. He went running back.
Here you go. So this was 2013. And you can see here, so 9 players fail age test at under-17 tournament, under-17. And you will see Ndidi's name here. That's his real name, Onyeni Ndidi. Yeah. So he was one of the players that was banned for failing. And the other one was Siriki Dembele, who plays for, I want to say it's Oxford United right now. He was at Bournemouth a couple of years ago. And I was going to show you a photo of this lad. Siriki. Let me find a photo of this guy. This guy is meant to be 29, okay? There is no way this guy's 29. Let me find the photo. Hold on. Okay, yeah.
A new situation.
Well, maybe you might think he's 20. I don't think he looks 29. I think he looks 29.
Wow. 29 going on 45.
And by the way, this photo was like a year ago. So he was like 28 here, not even 29. So yeah. So anyway, so that's my conspiracy theory on why Wilfred Ndidi dropped off. It's because he's not actually the age that he's meant to be. I think he's like I'm gonna get a letter through the door now from his lawyers or something probably for defamation. But no. Let me ask you quickly, Reese. Do you agree that Ndidi is one of our best players, our best midfielders ever?
No, I would disagree with that. I think he was good at his job, breaking up the play. but players like Ndidi nowadays are being shifted out of the game because of how technically good you have to be on the ball to play out from the back, and that's where Ndidi always failed in terms. But it got better. I think it got better under Rodgers. I think that 1920 season, he was the best holding midfielder in the league. I have no doubt in my mind. But I don't think he touches the likes of Kante, Tielemans. I don't think he touches the likes of Muzzy Izzet, Neil Lennon. That's just my opinion. I think he was amazing at what he'd done, but as one of the best, I don't think so personally. I think we've had better.
Okay, let's move on. So, up next, let me get rid of that one. There it is. Okay, up next, Marty. Marty's tactics are causing a regression of Fatawu, Winks, and Ricardo. If he doesn't sort it out, we might sleepwalk into relegation if we get 2 points deductions. Well, I mean, I don't think this is a hot take for anybody, is it? I mean, let me come to Ragsy first. Is that a hot take? Would you agree with this in any way?
I feel for him with Marty that he hasn't got all of the personnel that he would desire. And I think with these certain players, they're having to overcompensate at the minute, because there's just a lack of quality in and around the squads. So there's more onus on them. Like, for example, Fatawu, there's more onus on him to literally go into his own half, collect the ball, run like 20, 30, 40 yards with it, and then go and create a chance or go and score a goal. That's way too much. Like, it's way too much responsibility that they've got, and they're feeling the pressure and they're feeling the physical strain. So I think it's more that. However, I do see at the minute, like with Fatawu, he is isolated. With Ricardo, like they are facing too many one-on-one situations and stuff because he's having to invert to help out the midfield. And Winks is just having to be the sole playmaker in the team at the minute because there's just not enough profiles. But the main issue I've got with Marty is that in terms of looking for more solutions, he's just limiting his pool of options for the players and only looking at the experienced squad players, when really he could look at other internal solutions and try and bring through some youth just to at least like bed in. I know he brought in Nelson, and it's a shame with his injury and stuff, and really hope it's not as bad as it looks because the landing was awful there. He has brought through Monga. Just keep doing it, and just we can see some sort of a system then, or you can at least see the elements of the system. But yeah, I think we saw it initially, but it's phasing out a bit, and I think that's more of a struggle of who he's selecting rather than tactics. But maybe that is coming into a fold as well. So agree with that.
Well, Imran, let me ask you, mate, because Marty didn't regress Winks or Ricardo, did he? He made them better, if anything. So what's the Enzo, that is. Sorry, yeah, Enzo didn't regress them. So what are your thoughts on Marty? Do you think this is true, or do you think it's... Well, I suppose it's the same thing. I was going to say, do you think it's just the system isn't getting the best out of them? But again, it probably means the same thing as what Zach's saying right here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the tactics, maybe he's wanting them to play a certain way and the players are just not executing his game plan. Like, I still think Winks holds on to the ball sometimes too much and slows the game down. He's our best player by, in the midfield, he strings everything together. But if you notice, especially when when the game's balanced, he'll take 3, 4, 5 touches. And I hate that when players do that. Same with Vestergaard, he'll do the same. He'll touch the ball like 6, 7. Just play the ball quickly to keep the ball moving, right? But we slow the game down. And I can't work out if that's a Marty instruction or if that's something the players have just got used to or brainwashed because of the Enzo way back in the day, right? So I think, I don't like Marty, as you know, right? But if his instructions are to play quicker and the players are not executing what he's saying, then I might give him a bit of leeway. But I'm not enjoying, like I said, and I think Reese, you go to most of the games as well. I'm just not enjoying the football. It's just boring, right? Maybe this international break will hopefully, he'll sort them out, the ones that are not on international duty, and he can try to fine tune it a little bit more. But I'm just surprised, as the season's progressing, we're getting worse. I know we beat Norwich, but I keep thinking in my head, let's not get carried away. Norwich are bottom of the table, right? Let's not count Sheffield Wednesday. They're bottom table team. So we were expected to beat them anyway. So it's going to be interesting when we come back against Stoke on Saturday next week. or the week after, sorry, and see how we get along with Stoke. Stoke are flying at the minute as well. And if we can play quicker, we're at home, and then I might start changing my mind about Marty. But at the moment, I'm not impressed.
Right, Reese, let me come to you with a different one because we're running out of time. So the next one for you, mate, is again from Fox's talk. It's on the manager. He says, we should have promoted Brian Barry Murphy instead of getting Marty. We should have got... Okay, so the two different things. Ignore the bottom one. Start with the top one. We should have just kept with Brian Barry Murphy instead of getting Marty. What do you think to that?
I mean, he's doing a great job at Cardiff, isn't he? And I think he's been touted for another job. Was it a Middlesbrough job? He's been touted for the Middlesbrough job. It'd have been a gamble. I think it'd have been more of a gamble than Marty, because obviously Marty's got a championship pedigree with QPR. I think with the situation we were in, with potential points deduction, I think that'd have been a big gamble to go for somebody like him. But he is doing a great job, and I think a job like Leicester's probably a step too big for him at the minute, for Brian Murphy, whatever his name is. But I can see where he's coming from, but it's if buts and maybes. We don't know how good of a coach he was. None of us do. I think the club would have got a bit of backlash for that, and it's in League One. He's doing good in League One, learning his trade. So I don't agree with that comment.
And even then, though, I mean, he's fourth. It's not like he's top of the league with Cardiff in League One, but he is linked. He was linked to the Celtic job. So yeah, that's a bit of a credit. Probably just paper talk, agent talk, whatever. This is also true, Imran. There was a little article from John Percy saying that he had to apologise to the players because he yelled at them in training. Can you believe that, man? In 2025, your team's in the relegation zone. The coach is yelling at the players and they're fucking crying, and he's got to apologise, man. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I think what they call it, Imran, utter woke nonsense, mate.
Yeah, mate. Where have we got to in football, man? Like, that's the manager's job to yell at the players, right? Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm just a dinosaur now. I just don't get it. Like, what football's become, honestly.
No, you're not a dinosaur. Yeah. You've got common sense, Imran.
Yeah,
it's just common sense. Absolutely. I mean, that's wound me up. That's wound me up.
Did you not know that? Did you not know that, Reece?
No, I didn't know that. I think that was the point where I just completely. I think that's when I stopped going down for a little bit. But obviously now I found out the fact that he's had to apologise because the players were pathetic and weren't doing their job properly and walking around on a pitch, and he's had to apologise for yelling at them. It's a fucking joke. Absolute joke.
Yeah. I'm just here trying to see if I can find any snippet of the article. It was at Leicester, by the way. It wasn't thingy. I can't find it here. But go on. Let me just ask you, Ragsy, what your thoughts are, mate, on Brian Barry Murphy. Do you think now, in hindsight, we should have stuck with him?
It would have been way too big of a risk. The problem I've got here is that, as just alluded to there, that they cry like a little bitch when they're getting shouted at. These players, quite a lot of them that we've got, are uncoachable. And that's why, to an extent, that's why I see past all the tactics and the team selections and stuff a little bit with Marty. I'm running out of patience as well, don't get me wrong. But what's he supposed to do? I said it a few weeks back, when we were fourth or something, they was overperforming with this squad. I think after Norwich, we kind of found our level. We're kind of without points deductions, we're kind of mid-table championship quality. So we are at the minute where we're supposed to be. Because we keep on trying to replenish quality and failing miserably at it. And we're keeping around the players that and a lot of them got us in this mess in the first place. So, yeah, it's just going to get worse and worse. With Brian Barry Murphy, I don't think he would have got a grip, unfortunately. And it's way too big of a job for any sort of manager to come in. I doubt even at the minute if Pep or Klopp could have any solutions to this. That's how bad it is here.
I've just found, just to read this out, I just found it. So it says, the former Man City coach reportedly accused some Leicester individuals of not following his instructions during a training session that he oversaw. Feeling they weren't made clear. Oh, okay, so the player says that the instructions weren't made clear. Brian Barry Murphy had a go at them, basically saying, "Why are you not following my instructions?" There was a rift. A few of the players were annoyed, and Barry Murphy apologised the next day. So yeah, that's what you need to fucking know.
What do they want it on a big What do they want it on a big board in Seagrave saying, right, do this task next, do this task next? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Okay. I want to bring this one up because Ragsy's put one as well, but I haven't got Ragsy's here because this was from somebody else who was pretty not in coordination, but pretty much the same as what Ragsy was saying. So the Shiny Orange says, our fan base is tin pot. It holds us back, applies no pressure to the club board owner, tin pot mentality of where we were in League One 15 years ago. So we should accept becoming a yo-yo club again. I'm the guy who wants my club to be back in the top 6, fighting for trophies at any cost. So let me come to Imran, mate. Let me come to you first. What are your thoughts on this? Because I think some fans do have their head in the sand, Imran, for sure. That's always going to be the case. He won't mind me saying, in my opinion, Graham's head is in the sand with a lot of things. I also think some people are overboard. And when I say that, I mean the ones that were singing Death to Rudkin on Saturday. Okay, there's the overboard. But I think the majority of fans are kind of in the middle on the situation, saying that, you know, they can be appreciative of the success that we've been given previously, but also they understand that we're not a Big Six club. We never will be a Big Six club. Even if we win the Premier League again, we won't be a Big Six club because we just never will be, right? So what are your thoughts on this comment, Imran, saying basically that our fan base hold us back because they're not critical enough, basically, is what it's saying?
So I think, look, Locks, everything you just said is correct, right? That last sentence, I forgot what he's written there, but that last sentence, I think all of us want that, right? Every single fan, if you ask them, I want my club to be fighting in the top 6 and fighting for trophies again at any cost. But the reality is we're not a top 6 club, right? All I wanted from a fan perspective was when we won the Premier League, we won the FA Cup, we won the Charity Shield, we were in Europe. You know, that's the best I've ever seen Leicester City, right? Like that, I thought the Martin O'Neill days were the best I'd ever see. But this got better, right? Under Ranieri and then under Rodgers, you know, for that first 2 years, it got better than I'd ever expect. Champions League away games, you know, like that's just, you just wouldn't dream of this stuff at Leicester City, right? And we got those dreams. But what I'm disappointed about, and I agreed, like the first paragraph or the first sentence, it's not about being tin pot. The reality is the top 6, right, it's difficult to maintain that top 6, right? Because there's bigger clubs out there with bigger finances, with a bigger fan base. They're the top 6 clubs, right? I don't have to name them, you know them all. But what I wanted as a fan was to be established in the Premier League, right? There's no shirking finishing in the top 10 or in the top 12 every season. And that's all we wanted as fans. But the drop-off has been shocking, right? And that's where I think the frustrations come from. You know, that relegation was a surprise to all of us. No one expected the relegation, right? And I still say that getting rid of Kasper Schmeichel that season was a massive, massive factor in us getting relegated, right? Because Danny Wood fucked us over big time. But yeah, that they're my views on it. I think that's where it started going wrong. I don't think you can expect Leicester City to ever establish themselves in the top 6, but definitely I'd expect us to be establishing ourselves in the top 12 at least.
Or top 20. That would be a start.
No, top 20 is not good enough. We'd be relegated. Top 17.
Yeah. Before I come to Ragsy, let me ask you, Reese, what do you think our fan base is too lenient?
I 100% agree with that, and I 100% agree with Ragsy. I think our fan base is tin pot. I do. I think, and I do. I've always said it. I hate this. I hate this narrative about little old Leicester. We won the Premier League. We won the FA Cup. We've played in Europe. We've got to a European semi-final. We've been in the Champions League. We've been so successful over the last 10 to 12 years. I think that automatically doesn't make us little old Leicester anymore. We won 3 League Cups before that as well. We've competed in FA Cup finals. So I think this little old Leicester narrative needs to stop. I think we are way past those days, in my opinion. And I hear all these fans going, "Oh, Rudkin should go. Top should this, that, and the other." Do something about it. Then get some banners out. Go protest at the ground. Do something. Project Reset. Oh, we're making a protest. That was one of the most half-hearted protests I've ever seen in my life. There was no backbone behind it. So, in all, I think our fan base is very accepting the fact. Oh yeah, we won the Premier League. That's good enough for us. No, let's push on. Let's build a new training ground. Let's build a new stand. Let's get more fans in. Let's recruit more money. And you said it as well, Imran, about the big clubs having more finances. But we have proven, Brighton have proven, Brentford, Bournemouth, you can do it in a certain way. If you recruit smartly, make good footballing decisions, you can get up there. Look at Bournemouth this season. Look at Sunderland this season. Look at Brighton. They've competed in Europe, doing exactly what we did, and we got the trophies out of it. So I think that's utter nonsense.
But Reece, just on that point, sorry to interject, right? Just on that point, like these Bournemouth, Brighton, even Sunderland, right? They're only like spurts, right? Eventually they're going to drop as well. Hopefully, I'm not saying they'll get relegated, which is what we did. But they'll finish 13th or 14th one season, 15th. One might even get relegated. But the fact that we won the Premier League, we won the FA Cup, we got all of that revenue, we got all of that publicity. We're not little old Leicester now. We're an established football club in this wonderful country, right? Where we should be in the Premier League.
I agree. But obviously, with our situation, our budget was massively mishandled, and we didn't stick to the principles that we sell a big player every summer and reinvest it in cheaper, up and coming, talented players. We didn't do that one season. We had offers for Tielemans, Fofana. Obviously, Fofana got injured that season, and Tielemans, we rejected offers from I can't remember who they were, but I think it was like Arsenal, and we didn't stick to the module. And then ultimately, the season after, we got relegated. We can't really say on Brighton, Bournemouth and Brentford because they haven't been relegated yet. Until they get relegated, which I don't think they will, I think they're very, very clever football clubs. And I think you can do it. I really do think you can do it. Newcastle as well. Yes, they've spent big dough, but they've done it in a certain way. They get a big player in every summer, recruit smartly, and they got their rewards last season. They got Champions League football and their first trophy in 70 years. So I think you can do it smartly still.
Go on then, Ragsy, mate. What are your thoughts on this one, mate?
I agree with a lot of what Imran said around the standards. I agree with a lot about everything that Reece said, to be quite frankly. The problem comes in, and this is why I called them, us as a collective of being softer, really. I think we've got pockets of fans that want to keep their head in the sand. All right, we don't need you to drive a change. You can keep your head in the sand. That's absolutely fine. I think we've got some fans that feel angry by the situation, just pockets in and around there, but they're not galvanizing together to actually do something like convincing and stuff. Like when it comes to like end of games, and if we lose or something, or like, and you got fans clapping and you got fans booing and stuff, I don't see the point in either. All right, I don't see the point in giving credit when clearly they've done a crap job of it, and I don't see the point in booing when there's nothing really that's going to follow up from it as to actually act into change and stuff. Like we should be an established Premier League club at the minimum. That's where we belong. And we've fallen beneath those standards. We are where we are now. We can accept to sit here in football, like it goes around on a roller coaster, you have highs and lows. We can accept that, all right? But what we won't sit here and accept is us accepting the fact now that this is the level that we should be at. It's absolute bollocks. Like, we can't sit, otherwise what's the point in us? If you really care about your football club and you see it just falling down, if you see somebody and they're in a bad state of affairs, you just go, oh, yeah, that's where they'll be now. No, you go and help them. You go and push them on to achieve better things. Nobody, and there's so many fans out there that feel like this, want what's best for Leicester City to be back up there again. Not in the case of it's a divine right, because nobody's got that. Not even the biggest clubs in the country. It's for the sake of having hope. It's for the sake of actually, you know what? Got a good window, got a decent manager, got something good going here. We could have a really good season. That turned into winning a league, an FA Cup, or even if it does fall to shit in the end and stuff, and you have like you miss out on Champions League on the last day. You feel devastated, you blame some people, but then you go again because that's what hope is there for. You hope for a new season to go on and be better, and that's not what we've got right now. We haven't got hope. We haven't got a plan.
So on the back of that, on the back of what you're saying, Ragsy, my question, right, playing devil's advocate is, because you would call someone lenient if they were at the game, we lost 2-0, and they collapsed the team off the pitch, right? So my question is, people are entitled surely to support the club in whatever way they want as well. Like, you know, if people are entitled and have the right to go to the ground and boo, people have also the right to go to the ground and clap. You can do whatever you want as long as it's legal and not shouting fucking death threats. But as long as you can go and do whatever you want. So people, I think every Leicester fan wants the best for Leicester. They just all have different views on how we get there. Some think booing will make a difference. Some people don't think it'll make a difference. Some people just want to go because they love to go and watch. I know this is how Kate feels, right? Kate loves to go to the football every weekend and just watch the football. You know, she doesn't go there and boo and, you know, whatever and call people cunts. She just likes going to the football and watching the team. Yes, she's frustrated. Yes, she's angry when we lose. But she just doesn't think that booing is gonna change the situation. And if you look at the last 2 years of booing, has it made a change? It hasn't at all.
Yeah, I don't think either makes a change. I think, of course, like, you're entitled to go and do, you pay your money, you go and do what you want to do. What I'm saying is, whatever you're going to do, if you're really going to back the team, don't just clap after and then proceed to when you've literally just not supported them for 90 minutes and the atmosphere's got worse. And then when you go and boo, don't then just be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's really going to make a difference, because it isn't. Like, why not, like, us as fans, this is where this is where it's all divided and stuff. Like, we still want to be behind the team. I think a lot of us are in agreement with that. And then the people that are actually wanting change and stuff can get together and organise something else. Not these half-hearted protests when we're in a bad run of form. All right, we all come together and come to a solid agreement as a fan base as to how we actually move forward with this. We're there for.
It's never going to happen. You're never getting the majority.
Yeah, because everybody's stuck in their own ways and everybody's too soft and lenient to go and do anything about it. Go and actually strike some change into it. If we have a projective, then just be like, we're all unified on the same platform and just go, right, 90 minutes, back the team, no matter what. We're there for them, that's fine. And then if you want to go ahead and protest, you can do it outside the game. Or if you want to do stuff in the game, like sit-in protests like after the game or walkouts and stuff, like, or just anything outside the ground, and make it a regular basis, not just a one-off and stuff where you just go and put a stone, and not convey it in such anger like that with death threats and stuff. That's just not what the message is. All right, chants can change. We can learn. We can make mistakes, but go and keep trying. Go and keep like putting out like different layouts as to how we go and actually like protest in a proper way, and then still be there for the team.
But so Reese, Clibbo says here, this was my point. I was agreeing with Clibbo. I was saying, Reese, that you're allowed to boo, but you're also allowed to fucking clap. You can do what you fucking want, no?
You can do what you want, but when does that change though? Like where's the line for it depends where the line is for people. But I think people really underestimate the power that football club fans have. Look at Newcastle. They wanted change, they got change. Protest the lot. Arsenal, look at thousands of fans protested against the Cronkies. I know they didn't change, but now they're being successful. You look at other football clubs. Football fans can make a difference, and you will get change because we're the lifeblood of any club. We go down there week in, week out. If Top goes, we'll still be here. I'll still be here. You'll still be here, Locks. We will be here forever, and we can make a difference with respectful protests, not fucking death threats. I agree with that. That's a step too far. But if we can all come to an agreement, respectful protests, doing things in the right way, I don't see why we can't make change happen. Because, like I said, football fans are the most powerful thing in football.
Finally, Imran, let me get your thoughts on this, mate. What do you think on this subject? Because for me, mate, it's like you're never going to... I mean, we don't even get, 70% of people agreeing on the manager going, right? So you're not going to get 70% of people calling for a protest or showing up to protest. Where's your head at with all this, Imran? Just finish the stream off, mate. Talk to me.
So look, I think with the fan situation, look, we've got a lot of fans, and I don't like to be ageist, but the elder fans, right, like not my age but older than me, right, that they've seen Leicester go through more than I have, right? Like they've seen them in the 70s and some in the 60s even, right? That they've seen the good times and the bad, as we say, and seeing what we're in right now, which is the bad, it's normal for them. They've seen it before, right? Maybe not at the King Power, but definitely at Filbert Street back in the day, right? They've seen it for years and years and years, and they got used to it. We got a little bit of success. We're a bit like Bitcoin, right? We kind of went, we spiked up there, right? And then we've all kind of come back down and lost all our money, right? So those fans are like, with me, I was like, look, we've established ourselves as a Premier League team now, right? Because we never stayed in the Premier League for more than 10 years or 9 years. I think the last time we were in the Premier League was 9 years under the Martin O'Neill days, and then we got relegated again. And even same thing this time, right? We got promoted under Pearson. I think it was 9 years we were in the Premier League, was it? Or eight or nine? I think it was 8 years, maybe. I can't remember. But look,
8 years. 8 years, yeah.
8 years, yeah. So 8 years, if you think about it in the great scheme of things, it's not a long time, right? Getting yourself established for me now, after winning the Premier League, you got to be in the Premier League for 20 years. We should have been shooting for 20 years plus. That's establishment, right? You might argue that Blackburn Rovers, they won the Premier League and they've gone down. And look where they are. They're in mid-table mediocrity as well in the Championship, and they've seen a lot of hard times. So it just depends on your perception of everything, right? But with me and like with Reece and Ragsy, we've seen we've seen what this club can do, right? So for me, protests are good, right? Especially after what we've achieved. And if you want to force change, and I'm sure if the pressure is on, and of course there is a line, right? We don't go over that line. We ask for change, we keep asking for change, and eventually something will happen. But the fans have to do something about it, right? And I think the owners are listening now. And I think, like you said, I think there's going to be an interview soon from the board, one of the board members, either Top or someone's going to come out and say a few words, etc. That's going to help, and hopefully we can turn things around. But things are not good, yeah, definitely, and fans have a right to voice their opinions.
Yeah, I agree. One of bad times we had wasn't around at time when McClintock was manager in the 70s. You say this, Paul. I think that if on Saturday or next Saturday we play against Stoke, the players give absolutely everything for 90 minutes, but we lose 1-0, there will be boos, right? So I don't buy this effort.
If we play well and we lose, right?
I know that, Imran, but I'm saying a lot of people will still boo, right? A lot of the people who say these comments, like if they put the effort in, I won't boo. They will boo because we've lost a game of football at the end of the day, and that's just my opinion. At the moment, where we're at the moment within the fan base, I think a lot of people will boo. So, anyway, we're going to end it there. Thanks to Imran, thanks to Reece, thanks to Ragsy, very much appreciated. Thanks to everybody for giving us their hot takes. We do this every few months, so we'll be back again, probably maybe just after Christmas or something like that, and we'll do some more. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We've got a video coming out on the channel tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And remember, you can get yourself one of these bad boys by using the link in the description. Oh, you've not seen it, Ragsy? There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Well, it's not psychedelic, just looking at the stats on years.
Oh, link in the description. Link in the description. Check that out. You're about to hear an advert from them as well. So take care, Chisel. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye. No more 200 grand, but our new sponsors, The Beautiful Frame, have smashed it with this Jamie Vardy piece. It's unreal. They're a local Leicester business as well, which makes it even better. And not just City, they do prints for other clubs as well. So it's perfect if you are stuck for a birthday or Christmas present for one of your friends or family. Now, the best bit, they have sorted BTG viewers out with a discount. Just use BTG12 at checkout for money off. BTG12. Grab yours now at thebeautifulframe.com. The link is down below.